Welcome to Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Smackdown and WWE main event results spoilers for this week. It was April the 9th, 8th, and the rest of the week, 9th. And this will be the last WWE main event on Ion Network. As it's no longer there, I guess they offered their TV deal. Sad news that happened last night. TMZ was told by WWE officials Ultimate Warrior has passed away. My condolences go to his family and friends. Well, he was outside an Arizona hotel at 5:50 p.m. on April the 8th while walking to his car with his wife. Collapsed. Warrior was then transported to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Warrior's real name, James Hellwig, was a true WWE legend and was one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. He died at the age of 54. Warrior was just inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame the night before WrestleMania this weekend, and last night he made his first appearance on Monday Night Raw in years. Triple H tweeted, saddened to hear the announcement that the passing of the Ultimate Warrior, icon and friend. My sympathy to his wife, Dana, and his daughters. Stephanie McMahon also tweeted, R.I.P. Ultimate Warrior, your strength and character is to be admired. There will never be anyone like you. Your spirit lives on in your family. Hulk Hogan tweeted, Warrior's greatest rival has also tweeted, R.I.P. Warrior, only love, Double H. Kevin Nash wrote, so happy I embraced Warrior with a hug when we saw each other backstage Saturday night. My heart goes out to his family. Always believe. Warrior posed for some pics at the airport in New Orleans around 6 a.m. earlier on Monday, I believe. And we were told that he was in great spirits and offered to take photos with some fans who approached him. That was either Sunday or Monday, I believe, on that. And Jake the Snake Roberts commented on the death of Ultimate Warrior by Twitter. Deeply saddened, as Roberts wrote, we just had a great talk and buried a senseless hatchet. Working together, R.I.P. Warrior, taking solace, we make peace. Follow Roberts online at twitter.com/Jake Snake DDT. More reactions from around the wrestling world on the Ultimate Warrior's passing. Chris Jericho quoted, devastated to hear the passing of Ultimate Warrior. He was one of my childhood heroes, and he versus Hogan at WrestleMania 6 was one of the best ever. Hornswoggle said, saw him at the airport this morning and was going to say hello, but didn't want to bother him. Well, I guess that was Tuesday morning. Still so unreal and such mind-blowing news. Trish Stratus comments, sad to hear the news of the Warrior passing. Just seeing him happy the last 3 days, it puts life in perspective that it can't be taken for granted. Rest in peace. Daniel Bryan comments, heartbroken. My sincerest condolences go out to the Warrior family. Saying how much he loved his daughters and his wife this weekend makes it all the more heartbreaking. The Ultimate Warrior was my favorite as a kid, and getting to speak to him this weekend was one of my favorite moments. He was so nice to me. Rip Warrior. Even I'm cheer jerking. Randy Orton closes out the there's like three more. Randy Orton commented by, my thoughts and prayers go out to the Warrior family. It breaks my heart after seeing how proud his girls are of their father. Stay strong. Batista comments, after all these years, I finally get to tell him that me shaking the ropes was an homage to him. Blessed to have that moment. Hashtag one life. The Rock comments, loss always has a way of reminding us to live and love as greatly as we can. Our prayers are strength to his family. Rest in peace, Ultimate Warrior. DDP comments, deeply saddened to find out about the passing of at WWE legend, at Ultimate Warrior. You and your legacy will forever be remembered in our hearts. WWE posted a message on the official website saying WWE is shocked and deeply saddened to learn of the passing of one of the most iconic WWE superstars ever, the Ultimate Warrior. Warrior began his WWE career in 1987 and quickly went on to become one of the biggest stars in WWE history. Warrior became WWE champion at WrestleMania 6, defeating the Hulkster in an epic encounter. We are grateful that just days ago, Warrior had the opportunity to take his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame and was also able to appear at WrestleMania 30 and Monday Night Raw to address his legions of fans. WWE sends its sincere condolences to Warrior's family, friends, and fans. Warrior was 54 and is survived by his wife, Dana, and his 2 daughters. You can read more at this link from TMZ.com. Dean Ambrose apparently suffered a rib injury on the episode, this week's episode of Main Event. Triple H tweeted the following in response to the Shields promo about him on tonight's on the Main Event. Don't worry, at WWE Roman Reigns, at WWE Rollins, at the Dean Ambrose. I know all your names. I'll spell them right in your obituaries. Hashtag Main Event. WWE Smackdown taping was held on Tuesday night in Lafayette, Louisiana at the Cajun Dome. Advertised Main Event was Big Show versus Cesaro. It's a loaded SmackDown in terms of the advertised talent with Hulk Hogan, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Batista, The Shield, and the Wyatt family listed. Of course, some of the wrestlers could end up in dark segments, which the dark Main Event of SmackDown was advertised as listed. John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and The Shield versus Kane, Randy Orton, and the Wyatt family. Looks like a 10-man tag, 5 versus 5. And the WWE Main Event lists live from the WWE Network from Lafayette, Louisiana. Video recapping the Daniel Bryan, Triple H, and Randy Orton, Batista, Kane, and The Shield story from Raw. The opening video aired. Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton checked in on commentary. Match number 1, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan in a 6-man tag. Ambrose and Rowan started the match. Rowan kept the sheep mask on, but Ambrose slapped it off to start the match. Rollins checked in and put Rollins in a submission hold that he officially broke. Both teams entered the ring for a stare down heading into a commercial break. This is not the frantic pace that WWE that we have seen from the other Shield versus Wyatt family matches. It might just be a case of them waiting to crank things up after the break or even WrestleMania week. Fatigued, but hopeful that they are setting up for a long match. By the way, the commercial break was very brief on the network. Wyatt was working over Rollins, and then Harper checked in to do the same. Rollins broke free and tagged in Reigns at 6 minutes 15 seconds. Reigns picked up the pace with his offense, then tagged in Ambrose. They went for a combo move, but Ambrose was a little late on his part. Harper cut off Ambrose with a big boot, and then the Wyatt family took turns roughing him up. Ambrose continued to sell heading into the commercial break. Ambrose started to fire up, but Rowan cut him off and tagged in Harper. Ambrose caught Harper with a clothesline and reached up for a tag, but Wyatt tagged in and stopped him from getting to the corner. Wyatt caught Ambrose on the ropes and went for a superplex, but Ambrose avoided and hit Wyatt with multiple headbutts. Ambrose came off the top with a double X handle attempt, but Wyatt caught him and delivered a one-arm slam. All the teammates entered and fought their way out of the ring quickly. Wyatt went for a Sister Abigail on Ambrose, but Ambrose dodged it and put Wyatt down with a DDT. Ambrose reached out and made the hot tag to Rollins. Rollins performed some crowd-pleasing hot spots on his opponents. Wyatt tried to trip him up from the floor, but Rollins jumped over his arm and then kicked him away. The illegal men took turns hitting big moves on one another, including Reigns hitting Wyatt with a Superman punch. The rapid-fire big spot continued, and Rollins made the made a tag to Ambrose, who hit the finisher on Roller for the win. The Shield won in 19 minutes 25 seconds. Another very good match, crowd-pleasing offense of Reigns and Rollins was cool, but most impressed by the selling of Ambrose. Really liked the hot spots of him nearly making the tag and being cut off. Not much from the injury, the rib injury, as he was very convincing. But he must have been really injured from selling that from the injury. After the match, Renee Young entered the ring for a promo as Rollins said it felt good and was a long time coming. He said, "No one can stop the Shield." Ambrose tried to talk, but he held his stomach and choked as he talked while selling the attack and spoofing Billy Gunn. Ambrose viciously said the Authority found out what happens when you face the Shield. Rollins said that they were called anonymous pawns. He said that they are not anonymous. Do I look faceless, baby? Reigns asked Young, "Cajun Dome, do I have a name? What's my name?" The fans chanted, "Roman Reigns." Triple H, "My name is Roman Reigns, and I'm the guy who speared you on Monday night, and I'm standing right here," as Reigns said. Rollins then said he knows what they did on Monday night will result in consequences. "We are prepared for war," Rollins said. He said that there is no greater injustice than the Authority. He said that they are going to own the war, and you can believe in the Shield. Ambrose was over the top afterwards, and Rollins looked like he was trying to avoid laughing, which is part of the reason. I wonder if it was an inside jab at Gunn, who was bleeding from the mouth after their WrestleMania match. Total speculation on my part, though. Reigns was great there. He comes across as the coolest guy in the company. One of the Adam Rose vignettes from Raw aired. WrestleMania still shots were shown. The announcer spoke as mainstream media headlines were shown on the screen regarding Brock Lesnar ending Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, and then a WrestleMania video was shown. Swagger and Coulter made their entrance. Another WWE video aired. Coulter and Swagger stood in the ring for a promo. Coulter said, "Once a sneaky immigrant, always a sneaky immigrant," regarding Cesaro. He said that Cesaro showed his true colors despite everything they did for him. So we get Jack Swagger, Wizell Coulter versus Dolph Ziggler. And Swagger dominated early and threw knees at Ziggler in the corner before catching him with a clothesline. Ziggler called a charging Swagger with an elbow and then dumped him to ringside. Swagger returned to the ring and Ziggler dodged his clothesline attempt and went on offense for a moment before Swagger charged at him and cut his knee out from underneath him. Ziggler caught Swagger with a sunset flip, but Swagger rolled through into the Patriot lock, which he didn't hold on to for very long. Ziggler continued to sell the ankle, but did manage to DDT Swagger, as Ziggler had a victory roll for a 2 count, but Swagger came right back with a Patriot lock for the win in a 4-minute, 10-second match. A recap of Alexander Rusev's in-ring debut on Raw was shown. Broadcast team said he would be an actor after the break. Well, they went to a commercial, decent match between Swagger and Ziggler. It's a shame that Dolph just feels like an enhancement wrestler at this point. I was hoping that things would improve for guys like him and Damien Sandow once WrestleMania passed, but there's been no signs of that thus far. WWE is really pushing the Daniel Bryan documentary that is airing on the network called Journey to WrestleMania. A brief Bo Lee vignette was shown. Match number 3, Alexander Rusev with Lana versus Sin Cara. Lana was once again referred to as the Ravishing Russian before she delivered her pre-match mic introduction for Rusev. Rusev caught Sin Cara with a big kick to the head and eventually won with an accolade. Camel clutch finish hold. And squash match in 50 seconds. Broadcast team announced Daniel Bryan and the Usos versus Randy Orton, Batista, and Kane for Smackdown. A very quick squash match. The broadcast team says a lot of the right things, but they are still very monotone. You can tell it's back to normal with the live crowd, and the WrestleMania fans didn't make it to Lafayette. Summer Rae responded to Fandango's earlier tweet when he broke up with her. Yeah, I got your text, but you haven't responded back to all of mine. And then you quickly, go publicly tweet this crap. Well, that was it for the main event. A total squash, report number 1. Dark match before the main event in Lafayette saw Sheamus defeat Titus O'Neil with a road kick. And the second dark match in between main event and Smackdown saw Mark Henry, Cody Rhodes, and Goldust defeat 3MB. Daniel Bryan and the Usos versus Batista, Randy Orton, and Kane had been announced for SmackDown. And Rebecca Before was at the SmackDown taping in Lafayette, Louisiana, passing along the following report. Was the second report of the dark match. Sheamus defeated Titus O'Neil. The match was taped prior to the main event live. Goldust, Cody, Rhodes, Mark Henry defeated 3MB. Nice spot for Goldust team, especially Henry. This match was held after the main event taping, but it was labeled as a pre-show match by Rebecca, so it appears it was not taped for Friday Night SmackDown. And here's the SmackDown taping. Report. John Cena came out to recap WrestleMania and said it's a new era. Yes, this is report number 1. He said he is the measuring stick. He is the standard barrier. And anyone who wants to be somebody has to go through him. The Wyatt family promo aired on the big screen. Bray Wyatt said he can't stop smiling and that he will have to go to new extremes to bring the monster out of Cena. Match number 1, Cesaro defeated Big Show by DQ. No entrance music for Cesaro. Paul Heyman came out and introduced the King of Swing and bragged up on Cesaro. Lesnar and himself, mixed reaction for Cesaro, probably because of Heyman, who sat in on commentary. The crowd was cheering for Big Show, and Cesaro came across as a heel most of the match. The match ended in DQ when Swagger came out and put the ankle lock on Cesaro. Cesaro performed the neutralizer on Big Show after the match was over. Match number 2, Ryback defeated the Los Matadors. Match number 3, Rob Van Dam defeated Sandow. Big pop for RVD, who cut a short promo before the match. Hulk Hogan's running wild, brother. Hogan talked about being the host of Mania and how Mania became Yes-to-Mania. He called out Daniel Bryan, who said it's the greatest week of his life since he got married and won the titles. Bryan said he's always idolized Hogan and then asked for Hogan's music to be played. Hogan and Bryan did Hogan's signature entrance in the ring, and then Hogan began the the yes chant as the crowd went nuts. Match number 4, Bad News Barrett defeated Kofi Kingston. Half the crowd pulled for Barrett, while the other half pulled for Kofi. Barrett didn't receive anywhere near the reception he had on Monday Night Raw. Match number 5, Fandango with Layla defeated Santino with Emma. Fandango's new girl is Layla. Very short match. Wow. Let's see, starting face. Match number 6, the Usos and Daniel Bryan fought Kane, Batista, and Randy Orton to a double countout. Side note, I think I've suffered hearing loss from Batista's pyro. Holy moly, Batman. Each member of Kane's team beat up one of the Usos. Sign guy, yes, he's here. Tried to motivate Uso, but even he can't help. The poor Uso can't catch a break. Finally, Uso tagged in. Bryan and got the crowd erupted. And there was a nice over the rope spot with Bryan and then the Uso spot. And there was a count out on both teams. Orton and Batista took out the Usos in the middle of the ring. Kane was about to take out Bryan when the Shield came out. They scared off Batista and Orton. But Kane came from behind with a chair before he could hit a member of the Shield. So then Daniel hits him with a high knee. And the Shield and Bryan celebrated. Next up was match number 7. John Cena beat Bray Wyatt by disqualification. The audience thought the last match was the main event and started to leave. there was no advertisement for the match. Bray bought down Cena early and started the he's got the whole world in his hands song. Bray had a little confrontation with the sign guy, which was funny. There was a "Let's Go Wyatt" chant out the powered up the "Let's Go Cena" chant. Bray then threw Cena into the ring steps so hard it left a dent in the steps. Later, Cena went for the five knuckle shuffle. Bray stopped him with a crab walk. Eventually, Cena did the five knuckle shuffle. The crowd was really into this match. Cena performed the attitude adjustment on Bray, and he kicked out. You couldn't even distinguish chants at this point. Bray went for the Sister Abigail's kiss, but Cena countered it with the STF. Rowan and Harper ran in to cause an EQ and beat up Cena. Bray went out of the ring and grabbed a chair, but Cena fought them off to end Smackdown. No 10-man tag match as advertised. Strange. The last match concluded the taping. And a little bit more brief report. Thanks to Justin Reeves for the following Smackdown spoilers for this week from Lafayette. John Cena kicked off Smackdown and talked about how WrestleMania 30 was. He said it's an exciting time to be part of WWE. He says the future is now, and here's the measuring stick of this business. Wyatt family interrupted on the big screen. Bray Wyatt says he can't feel the pain if he lost. Why can't he stop smiling? Bray cuts a great promo and says he will get extreme, and this is just the beginning. Big Show vs. Cesaro was up next. Paul Heyman came out and says there is officially no more doubt that he is the greatest manager of all time. He introduces Cesaro, who comes out to no music. They walk to the ring and we get the bell. The match starts slow as Heyman goes on commentary, and Cesaro is using some noticeable heel tactics, such as leaving the ring, huddling with Heyman, and a thumb to the eye. This isn't Cesaro's normal type of exciting the crowd or a match, but the look at the opponent. Just as Cesaro was going for the swing, Swagger came out and put on the ankle lock on Cesaro, and the bell rings for the qualification. Big Show throws Swagger out of the ring, and then Cesaro attacks Show from behind. Cesaro struggles a lot, but successfully hits Show with the neutralizer. Ryback defeated Los Matadors in a quick match, nothing more than that. And Rob Van Dam cut a babyface promo before defeating Damian Sandow. So that's a little bit different from the previous one, as they said Sandow cut a promo. Hulk Hogan came out and cut a promo on WrestleMania 30. He brings out Daniel Bryan to a big pop. Bryan talked about winning the titles and getting married later this week. Whoa, they haven't gotten married yet. Bryan talked about being a fan of Hogan and asked the Real American music to be played. Hogan and Bryan celebrate to Hogan's music as the crowd pops. Next up was the Bad News Barrett defeated Kofi Kingston. Very brief. And Fandango with Layla defeating Santino Marella with Emma. Fandango has officially dumped some away and is now with Layla. Layla taunted Emma at ringside. Daniel Bryan and the Usos went to a double count out against Kane, Randy Orton, and Batista. Bryan got the biggest pop of the night when he got the hot tag and cleaned house. They all balled to the floor for the count out. Kane, Orton, and Batista got the upper hand after the bell until the Shield came out. Orton and Batista ran off together, and Bryan laid out Kane with a flying knee. Smackdown ended with Bryan and the Shield celebrating to the Yes Movement chants. And that ends my report for this week's Smackdown and main event. Thanks again. Peace out.